Welcome back to FedRAMP 5. We're going through this is the last episode in a series where we've been talking about the FedRAMP Roadmap that was released back in March. Um, this episode, we're going to talk about the fourth objective and sort of close out the series. And this fourth objective is really around increasing the effectiveness of the program, and the way that they see to do that is through automation and technology forward um, operations. And it's just an acknowledgement that there's too much paper pushing. There's not really enough metrics um, that are driving these outcomes. And overall, I think the roadmap's ambitious, right? And it's going to need metrics to track whether or not the objectives are being made. So, Gary, what are your thoughts around KPIs for the program, and what the PMO needs to do here?
Well, I think in some cases, just hear me out on this one, Jason. One of the challenges, if you look at the beginning statement there, it's too manual and it takes too long, and they need to drive those performance metrics in place. I want to say if you look at the majority of CSPs that we work with, the length of time that it truly takes to get FedRAMP ready and audited isn't that long. I mean, and many organizations, we take uh,
The time
the time to get FedRAMP
prep
up.
has come
Yes,
down.
has come down a tremendous amount, right? The ability to use automated tools to build your systems consistently, and if you work with, a company like ours, as an example, you know, who have experience in doing this, they can do that part of it pretty fast. And then they can get the auditor in there. And if the auditor has audited your overall infrastructure that looks maybe somewhat similar to somebody else's, because you've gone the infrastructure as code route,
It's
that
the same
reduces the
patterns.
time. Yeah, the same patterns, it's exact same patterns every single time. So, the part that's manual is really the review process. So, and what do we always tell customers? I can tell you how long it's going to take to get your FedRAMP ready. Not FedRAMP ready as the readiness assessment perspective, but ready for audit ready is what we call it. And then if you can get scheduled with with a good auditor, then you can put that kind of at a good timeline as well. Um, the unpredictable piece is the review process, the agency review, and then the review with the PMO. In a lot of cases, that's where we need to take a look at establishing some KPIs. How long does it take to get through a agency review? What are the key findings that they find in every single audit? How long does it take, to go from, in process to in PMO review?
Right.
Um,
I mean, agency reviews can vary quite a bit.
oh, yes.
But this dovetails in with the previous objective in the previous video about you know the low review, right? So, like, can they establish um, other agency working groups or other agencies that do a good job in their review, right? And they're sort of a known entity, and they do the end result is good quality, right? And go that low review route more often for those kind of approved agencies, like DISA is the one that they named as being kind of the pilot. But are there other pockets that do very very good reviews, and their packages can be trusted? Therefore, you could go that low review route just for a quality check.
Right, right, and maybe that's all they really need to be doing at that point. But that's where, to me, that's where they need to get the metrics. Is really the length of time to really build, to go through the review process.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of the key metrics need to come from.
So, what do you think about the next point here of the technology platform? I mean, we saw the RFP that was released. We know that there's a few vendors that are probably vying for this to try to get that technology, be that technology platform. And it's sort of acknowledged that FedRAMP needs this, right? Like the program office needs this. Um, and it's an acknowledgement that, there needs to be enablement tools in sort of an ecosystem for agencies, to leverage, um, as well as the CSPs. I mean, I think they've got the language, the idea of okay, how we're going to transmit these documents and things like that in the form of OSCAL. But ultimately, there's got to be tools that support OSCAL, right, or support those outputs and inputs.
Well, you know me, I'm a strong proponent of APIs first and technology first. I think I've said it in almost every single one of our talk series. Let's remove the humans where we don't need them because they're error prone and we just take too long. And if you're reading the same document, from multiple vendors, your eyes are going to cross. So
Yep.
we not only do we need to do the simple checks, but we've got to figure out how we can get a method in place for reviewing some of these more detailed write-ups as well. Or we go back and we have to trust the agency or the 3PAO to ensure that they are reviewing everything at a good beat as well.
Yep.
So the APIs are going to only get us so far. Uh, the data first aspect is only going to get us so far. It's how long does it take to review it once it is transmitted?
Yeah, and my hope and dream is that someday us FedRAMP stakeholders, don't have to be the beta testers for Microsoft Word anymore, right? Because we're not
Yeah.
like pushing the limits, the envelope of what Word can do from a page count standpoint,
But it's the multiple tables. That's what I always like to say. You can't have more than one person in the same table at the same time.
and
And
embedded documents,
and embedded documents as well.
embedded spreadsheets.
Embedded documents as well. Yeah, so I'm all for it. I really am. And trying to educate the CSPs or the integrators or the 3PAOs how all this works together, I think is a prime target to speed this process up very rapidly as well. I'd be happy, to be a member of some of the beta testing, on some of that process as well. Uh, we've got
Yeah,
some great SSP tools in our arsenal, along with OSCAL output as well. What we need is that API on the other side that can catch it, right, and
right.
then start to do something with it. So
Yep.
I'm all for it. And I love that third bullet as well, right? It's how do you get this complete digital authorization package to roll all the way through and to really be looking at it from an entire perspective, not just for the check marks and the I's dotted and the T's crossed perspective. So
Yep.
I think as AI gets stronger, maybe we can have some AI tools to help us interpret what's being said and is it the right things that's being said. I don't know the answer to that yet, but we've got to figure out that part of it because I know you've read one or two SSPs in your life. I think I might have read one or two in my life. I may have written one or two in my life. Um, they are very, very hard reads. So trying to figure out exactly what that person is trying to say, how that control is implemented to pass the test can be difficult. And then getting inside that the head of the writer, the head of the technologist, and the head of the auditor to figure out how they tested it as well can be very difficult as well. So
Yeah, we may need AI in the future to help not only write them but also to read them for us.
yeah, well, in some cases too, here again, going back to some of the things that we've done here recently, our goal is to have the SSP also be written by the system that you've built, right? So it's pulling information right directly from the system, that's been built in order to have a
We've been
consistent
doing Kanban that
read
way.
to what. we've been doing Common that way for a while, right?
Yep.
All pulling everything natively, and then being able to kind of assemble it all into one package, and then you know
Yeah. Why not the
manually,
rest of the package?
and then manually upload it. And
Yep.
so I'd like
Okay.
to see that part as well. So
Yeah. So great discussion on the subjective and moving out to look at the rest of we'll look at another couple slides here in the roadmap. But benefits again, they're sort of focusing benefits around all the stakeholders here and what it will mean. But I mean, it's really everything we've stated so far, right? It's all about streamlining the process, gaining efficiencies, reducing the amount of time that it takes, reducing ultimately reducing costs. They don't directly say that, but that it should have that effect. And ultimately allowing more rapid adoption of cloud, right?
agreed, 100%.
So the timelines, were I think that they're talking about doing the right things. I mean, the one thing that jumped out at me with the timing of the roadmap is just it's aggressive. I mean,
Oh yes,
it's definitely ambitious. Um, but if they are able to get agreement on some of these things, particularly the things that are earlier on, I think it'll already make an impact on streamlining things for the CSPs. Um,
agreed.
yeah.
Yeah,
Any other?
yeah, and I was gonna say to me, a couple of the ones that I would love to see kind of be pushed to the front, and they're already in the front, is the review board, right?
Mhm.
The larger review boards, and
Definitely
increasing,
having the jab, you know, connect process be on pause um, has been it's been a sore spot. It seems like
right?
it's had the effect of reducing the overall capacity of the program while they are in this leadership change over and sort of retooling. Um, so I think getting out of that as quickly as possible is going to help.
I agree, absolutely. Over to
Um,
you.
yeah. Anything else here that jumps out at you? They it's funny they have two different bullets on red teaming. I think that's been probably an acknowledgement that that's been a hot topic in the listening sessions.
Yes,
Um, but definitely getting clarity around that is I think what they're tipping their hat at. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think they've got um, the right plan here. I think they've got some good ideas. Um, typically the things that are furthest out to the right are the ones that are going to probably be adjusted some. But that's the case of any kind of roadmap, right? The things that are further out aren't quite as clear. So time will tell, but it's a really interesting time to be in the FedRAMP space. And I really love thinking about the future of FedRAMP and where the program's going. I love the direction that it's going. I love the work that we're doing, for our customers. I think it's super meaningful, um, in helping the nation's cybersecurity, um, and using technology in more meaningful ways as part of doing the work. I love the thought of a future where we're out of the paper pushing and that and things are just more optimized and streamlined.
yeah, and I think this is a great step towards the future here. Yeah, the FedRAMP PMO, along with OMB, have really put some good lines in the sand, and they're really trying to push this along. I give a good set of kudos to the team for pulling this together. And I know it might sound like we were a little critical sometimes, but we've been living and breathing this process for 12
Yeah.
years. So we want to see it improved and improved as fast as possible, so we can help our customers, kind of move through the process as quickly as possible as well. So, with
Well,
that
if you've been
said,
listening this long, thank you for hanging
yeah,
in into the series, and let us know if we can ever help.
absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching.